yeah, once again, a little hyperbolic, but I'm just going to start off with saying I want to like kind of recant something I said in a live last night. I think most of us adults can empathize with the fact like you go live and talk to other people for 3 hours straight, you're bound to say something that like is just flat out wrong. You literally misspoke. You didn't mean to say it that way, or like kind of say something wrong, even when you know better. Like when I said Rocco's breed was developed by lions, it was his ancestors, the Molossers. It's like the dogs, the predecessors of them. And I know that. But like, after years of not really looking into that information, then you misconstrue stuff. And this is why like constant re-education reinforces knowledge. Like you have to, you know, at least especially for the way my brain works. So this is all to say last night I said I was talking about women, female predators who do bad things to kids. And I said something to the effect of, oh, look, it's like raining down leaves right now. I don't know if you can see. I said something to the effect of, um, it it's just women's reaction to this time, like trying to make it seem like they weren't as evil as it is. And I want to clarify. Of course, this is going to get like no views. I'm going to repeat this when I have more viewers, like in later lives too. I did not mean to take accountability off of women who are predators, especially anybody who's a predator towards a child is like a literal demon to me. I mean that. I'm not exaggerating. I think they are so evil, they are beyond human. I don't think a regular human being could take advantage of children. So last night in a live, I said something to the effect of like, it was just wrong what I said. Okay. It was flat out wrong. When I re listened to it, I was like, I can't believe I said that. I don't want to put that out there for people who have possibly been in the situation where I'm like, it's women reacting like this Jezebel spirit, them being like more predatory seemingly. I don't know for a fact, but like I think we can all agree. It seems like there's so many teachers preying on kids, female teachers, like, that seems to be on the rise, but, acid burn, hey, what are you doing on this time of day? It's cold as hell here in Florida. Oh my gosh, it's like 67 degrees here, it's great. I'm wearing, like, my most sheer flannel shirt, so I wanted to say that last night in my live, I said that like women preying on children, I was like, it's like a reaction because I want to clarify that. No, they're just as evil as any man that would do it. Any human being that takes advantage of vulnerable, innocent beings, whether it's animals or children or, disabled adults, like that's true evil. And like, there's that famous quote, I forget who said it, like you can tell a lot about a society by how they treat their most vulnerable, right? I'm sorry, excuse me. Rocco, Rocco, come. And I felt really bad, when I was re-listening to it, I was like, "Oh my god, that came off completely wrong," but I wanna clarify where I was coming from. It's just as evil when women are predators. In my opinion, it's almost more evil, okay, because we hold women to a higher standard, and why do we hold women to a higher standard, you know? Let's be real here, because, women tend to live up to those higher standards, you know? We are taught to be little mommies, to clean up after everybody else. Even when we're not a mommy, we're taught to be the little mommy in most situations. And, especially by the time it actually comes to actually parenting, I have notes I stuck in my boots. I wanna make sure I'm starting off. As much as we've been oppressed and looked down on, women have also been held to a higher standard in many ways. Overall, generally, women are better people. I am not saying that like there aren't plenty of good men, but let's be real. If women committed over 90% of violent crimes, um, all the men would be all over that, There's plenty of good men that make up for the few bad men, okay? But I'm saying, like, let's be real, speaking in generalizations, women are held to a higher standard. Women are expected to not sleep around. They're looked down on more and when they are promiscuous, which I think is unhealthy and bad for everybody involved. Women are looked down on more when they are not a parent. I feel like that. Like, when I hear of a mom not being in a child's life, I look down on that more than if it was the dad, and this is part of where that misogyny talks come in, like, I had to unlearn a lot of my internalized misogyny. Why do I look down more on women? I just feel like when you grow the child in your body and then you, like, abandon it or don't try your best for it, it's almost worse. Why is that? Because women are held to a higher standard. Why is that? Because we often live up to it, okay? And then at the same time, we're oppressed and told we're worse than, we're lazier and everything. I know these are generalizations, okay? I get it. There's a lot of lazy women. Same, put my vape in my pocket. Gonna look really funny. I have a bunch of stuff in my front pockets. So, think about how men commit the vast majority of the crime. You know, we expect more from women. We expect them to behave better. We expect them to sit down and shut up way more so than we do men. And men are socialized, you know, boys will be boys. And it's all a problem. And I already said we're parentified. When you are the mom, it's 100% your fault, even if it was an unplanned blessing. You know, it's never considered like 50-50. It takes two to tango, especially now with the way women's rights are. I don't even want to get into that, but like we need to be more careful than ever to control our fertility. Like there's a reason why more is expected from women. I can't stress that enough. And it's also kind of goes hand in hand with how we are one of three species on the planet that evolved to go through menopause because our fertility stopped. So for a quarter of our life, we are available for our community, our family, our friends, because we are so important. The role of the older woman, the grandma, the mother is so crucial. The aunt, it is so important. That we go through menopause in order to be there for everybody else. One of three species on the planet, and I believe the other two are like elephants and dolphins, like some kind of whale, you know, like very intelligent mammals. So, I really don't wanna get upset. So, I already said earlier last night, I said something to the effect of, like, it's like women reacting to the environment basically whenever they're child predators. I was completely out of pocket, I should not have said that. They're fucking demons, they're just as responsible for it as when a man does it. I Where I was coming from was this, like, you have higher expectations for women, and, like, am I explaining this well enough? I hope I am. And so, but I do see what is going on is like a downfall of all of society, and like women are becoming more evil. That's why I titled it that. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that does need to be acknowledged. And it is all their fault. It's all up to them to take responsibility for their actions. I am not trying to excuse any predatory actions. But at the same time, you know, two things can be true at once. And I believe, and I think a lot of you can agree, like clearly there's more predatory females. And why is that? I think it is a sign of the times. I think it's an end of the cycle, like the Sumerian tablets said that it starts off female dominant, feminine dominant, then it's a mix of both, which is ideal when we work perfectly in tandem together, masculine and feminine energies. And then at the end of the cycle, before it implodes upon itself, because it's also fucked up and crazy, it is masculine energy dominant. So it's like they even explain like in when that happens, sex is monetized. You know, when it's female dominant, it's like completely sacred. I don't know what would in between be. I guess like what we try to promote when it comes to like being monogamous, finding a life partner, and anyways. So I say all that to say I'm sorry. I'm especially sorry to anybody I offended, especially anybody that's been through that. I know so many men that have been through. Oh my God. My first boyfriend, my first, like, you know, love, he had a babysitter try to take advantage of him. And I know I shouldn't be telling other people's stories. I'm not going to tell the story. But it was just like any man I got close to had a story like that. Literally every man I've ever gotten close to. So I don't I mean, I do feel like it's increasing, like, this crazy stuff with the educators, it just seems to be happening left and right, and, it's all women's fault when they do it, it's their fault, but I'm just talking about what is taking place in society to make who should be the nurturers and caretakers, the ones that we always looked up to and held to higher standards before, why so many of us are, like, doing all this evil shit, and it is in response to the sexual revolution, in my opinion, birth control, in my opinion, and I know it's beneficial for many women, but I just think we need to do better when it comes to hormone balancing and helping with women's health. I don't fault any woman for taking birth control. I definitely don't. It's just a shame that it's like our only option for most medical conditions, and it's not easily filtered out in the water supply. And a lot of people are bathing in it and drinking it. And you know, if fish in the Potomac River, male fish are growing eggs. What is going on otherwise? Okay, so I say all this to say I watch those, like, TikTok compilations where there's, like, viral stories on TikTok, you know, and then every people's different like, a few people's different perspectives, several people. I'll get in the chat after this, I'm just trying to get through this. And I saw this story where a woman okay, trigger warning, I'm so sorry, trigger warning, self-deletion, um, a trigger warning, mental health, trigger warning, divorce. This woman was leaving her husband, and he took his own life. And the response from other women is part of what I'm talking about, and I'm not trying to sound like a saint here, I'm really not, I'm not better, I can't help but think some of these women reacting are also mothers of 3 sons, and it's just, like, so sick and evil to me. They, it's just like, oh, the comments, like, you know, for somebody to get to that point, um, you can't take that back, and the way she was with it, she had to share it. She had and she was upset, of course, when it happened, she was upset. She literally played, like, the security footage of when she found him. You couldn't see anything, but you could hear the audio. I'm sorry, I just think that's a little too much. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Oh, no, guys. Oh, no, I don't know how to switch it back, guys. What do I do? Do you see it? Do you guys shoot. Whatever. I'm so sorry. I wanted you to see my yard. I have to go soon anyways. I have somewhere to be soon. But I am so freaking sorry. Lighting on. Oh my gosh. Did you see me disappear? Now I can do a magic trick. If somebody asks me if I can do a magic trick, I'm gonna say that. Okay, this is the whole fucking point, okay? We've lost our empathy, we've lost our way as a society, especially as women. And yes, we are the leaders in so many ways. Yes, we do. We lead our families in so many ways. We raise the children, we teach them how to be human beings most of the time for Mocha's dad and is busy working so we can stay at home and do it in an ideal situation, right? I don't mean that like everybody has to do that, but like as somebody that yeah, we struggled a lot to do it. I don't have as many material possessions. I don't have a retirement account, and I think it's all worth it. I think it's all worth it, and I would do it all over again too. And anybody that meets my kids would understand why. They're great human beings, and I do believe that I was put here to bring them into this world. And if me and their father ever got to that point, and something like that ever happened to him, I couldn't imagine putting it on the internet forever to tell everybody about how, like, it was his fault though, and I know she's dealing I mean, I'm sure the grief that she's dealing with is that's, like, part of this reaction, she is just, like I'm sure some of it has to do with, like, grief, and I couldn't imagine how I would react, but I can't imagine, like, 100 years ago, this would be a normal reaction, this would be an acceptable reaction, granted, if we had social media, you know what I mean? People would be like, "No, this is not right," and it just makes me so incredibly sad. And when you see like anybody like the trolls, like sometimes I feel so bad for using the word incel. It just comes out of my mouth. But I feel for people. I feel for anybody that would be considered an incel, that is involuntarily, that does want a partner in life. I think a lot of them plain old don't deserve it until they do a lot of self-improvement, but that doesn't mean that I can't feel bad for them. I'm sorry, I need to call for my dog. Rocco, Rocco, come. Okay, he was close. So anyways, it was just like I heard myself say that thing about like it's women reacting to their environment, basically. That's not exactly what I said, but like it's wrong when a woman preys upon a child. In a way, I think it's almost more sick, and that is part of the double stand. That is the internalized misogyny, how we have different standards for women. It's a human being taking advantage of another vulnerable, innocent human being is sick all around. And okay, I think I made my point. My point was, I think that it's, like, increasing, but I'm not trying to take accountability off of women, like, they can't help it because they grew up after the sexual revolution, and there's a bunch of adult media, and they're just trying to go along to get along. I didn't mean it like that. I do feel a lot like that about, like, promiscuity, and it is damaging, okay? It is damaging. In my opinion, it's almost like cutting or something, You're gonna, like, do that, and you are causing so much damage emotionally and possibly physically. The green behind is pretty cool, no worries. Oh, Alyssa, you're sweet, thank you. I like being outside, but, I know the lighting isn't so great, and I should be in the sun. See what I mean? If I was like the live I did out here yesterday, I didn't look that good. I don't care. I really don't because the person that knows me that I care about the most, my husband has seen me at my best, he's seen me at my worst. And I've heard a lot of men say this. He likes it when I wake up first thing in the morning. He has a thing for me and my hair, like first thing in the morning, and always like, we do all this. We spend 2 hours getting ready. A lot of times he likes you best when you're like straight up out of bed or out of the shower. Um, but yeah, I know it's the green screen, and I don't know. Oh, ah, okay. Now, if that ever happens again, I'll know how to fix it. Hold on. Oops. Oh, you guys, it's my groceries. I took a picture of for my husband. Okay, this is kind of funny. So I can put anything behind me. Um, I'm sorry. Now I'm not doing justice to the topic that I was like talking about. I think we need to take mental health really seriously, and I think about and women attempt just as much as men. There's my dog. But I don't want to be a cause for anybody to ever feel worse, to be a trigger. Clearly, that man was triggered and went into psychosis, in my opinion. I'm not an expert, but like, clearly, there was a reason why this woman chose a man and had 2 children with him, I think, and this is what you're going to leave on the internet as his legacy, you, like, being like, "Yeah, he did this, but it really wasn't my fault, everybody." It's like, how about we have an open discussion if you're gonna bring this to everybody's attention, that this happens, how can it be prevented? What can we do to support people more in their times of need instead of, like, pointing the finger and being like, "Oh, well, he probably deserved it." I'm not even repeating all the comments that were so horrible because I don't have the heart to say I don't wanna start crying. Honestly, it made me cry. Like, I just couldn't imagine that happening and then making content out of it for everybody to talk about, like, how, yeah, he was just like another worthless man and is trying to get attention. That's what narcissists do. They're just trying to get one last rise out of you. He wanted you to find him in that state. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, that's like the most tragic thing. And a lot of the vets are military suicide. I'm sorry, the unaliving rates, self deletion rates. I mean, anyways, Rocco, 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 Rocco. Sorry, guys. Anybody at the pet shop? That is so funny. Hey, Mr. Carey, how are you doing? Are you feeling better today? Instead, you teleported to an alien planet. This is funny because I've been wanting to know how to do this. So when I have like a article I'm reading, oops, I'm sorry if I disappeared for y'all. I'm trying to like find something else, but I'm not gonna find anything decent. Like I said, I need to go. Look, you wanna you wanna go shopping with me? This is me being like, "Look at all this clearance." Sake, gosh, I got like 12 pounds of organic chicken on sale because I went first thing in the morning. I know not everybody can do that, but like between Instacart shopping and just like taking my kids places, I try to stop in and look at clearance, especially at Kroger's. Whatever you might consider to be the most expensive store might actually have a lot of good sale items, specifically because it's the most expensive store. Nobody can afford that shit. Or a lot of us, most of us, right? Like 90% of us can't afford that shit. At full price. Okay, guys, welcome to everyone. Oh, Havid, how do you buy from exporters? J Ji Woon Yin. I'm sorry. How are you doing? That's your favorite aisle, Adrian? Yeah, we've gotten a lot of steak on clearance. I buy it if it's like, more than some of it's like 10%. I want clearance. I want 50% or more, you know what I mean? But anyways, I do wanna go to the butcher shop, but it's like I keep getting these good deals on sale. That's cool, you're from India? Okay. So, what's up with the title? I explained it already. I feel like okay, so first I was correcting a thing I said in my live last night. I misspoke. It just happens when you, like, talk for 3 hours at a time. I think most people can understand that, but I felt so bad when I heard myself say something to the effect of, "When a woman preys on children, it's like a sign of the times." It's see that leaf fall on my head? It's like, if I can put a different picture, why on earth can't I figure out how to just, like, take it off? Anyways, I did not mean to take accountability or responsibility off of women because, it is absolutely their fault. Rocco! Rocco! I'm sorry, I don't want him digging holes. So, I should just take him inside. Anyways, come on, Bubs, sit. So then I saw this whatever going trending on TikTok story where this woman is making content out of her husband self-deleting himself. And it all reminded me of just like how I think everybody's getting worse, right? Like everybody can agree, like it's just like things aren't improving, things aren't getting any better. It's even shown in art, like in the quality of art and music. Like we're on this downward spiral. And women used to be held to, or are used to be are held to a double standard because we just tend to be good people. And there's a lot of shitty women, I get it. But women tend, people want to talk about how they don't take accountability. Like it's up to women to be the parent, especially in situations where it's an unplanned blessing. It's like 100% her fault for getting pregnant in the first place. And then it's like, why do we put these double standards on women to be better, to sit down, shut up, to be better daughters compared to sons. You know what I mean? Better in lots of ways and more compliant because we do tend to, and then there's like stereotypes for a reason most often, you know. That doesn't mean it's true for every single woman. Not every woman falls into this, but there's a reason, like women do often have it in them. I posted a short about a child-free woman. Even if you're not a mom, usually women tend to be nurturing fucking people and want to like help people in their community. And the women who aren't moms, sit, please sit before I tie you. I should just go. Um, they are just as much a part of the community and can help nurture you. Biological moms can be horrible, shitty mothers, right? Just as much as like non-biological mothers can be like such a difference in a child's life, whether they push the baby out or not, like, you know? Okay, I gotta go. I hope I made my point clear, and I'm really sorry for anybody that I've possibly offended. Long story short, I misspoke. It was completely stupid. I just completely misspoke, and that does happen sometimes. I got 10,000 views. I really don't want to private it. I'm sorry, but like, we're gonna make more videos on this topic. We're gonna talk more about this. Like, men are absolutely taken advantage of from childhood, and it's not spoken about as much because of the way they are socialized. And we are all socialized. So like, men just want it, you know, any way they can get it, and that's wrong. And I just think that everything is getting worse at the same time. That's why it is more important than ever for us to look at ourselves as like, I know this sounds, pioneers. Like, we are in this new time as human beings with like social media and the internet, and like we can forge pathways that, you know, are our own and are better than what is just like thrown in front of us. I'm sorry if anybody feels unheard in the comments. I've got to go. We have plans. Are you talking to the me? I love you guys. I hope everybody has a great night. If you want me to see anything, please like leave a comment under this. You want me to subscribe to you? You have a channel, leave it. Um, George Zimmerman, serial killer after mass shooter raised by a single mother. See, so why don't you look at it as the dad failed the kid because he wasn't there? Why is it 100% on the mom? You know what I mean? I can agree as a woman that's had 3 kids with 1 man, we have all our kids together, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of my intact family. I also see why a lot of people get divorced. So many people are so horrible. But it's just another example of what I'm talking about. Like, it's automatically all the woman's fault. You're not gonna look at the absence of the father and the actions he didn't take, which are just as important, right? Because they are. Mm. Love you guys. I hope you have a great night, and I hope to see you later on.